It was the peak of the holiday season, a time when my family's restaurant, a beloved establishment in the heart of the city, bustled with life. For decades, my grandparents had poured their heart and soul into this place after immigrating from Italy in the 1970s. My parents took over and expanded it, turning it into a destination where memories were made over delicious food. Now it was my turn. Just a few years back, I had bought the restaurant from my parents, who had decided to retire and enjoy life in the sunny embrace of Florida. With fresh ideas, I modernized the decor, revamped the menu, and aggressively marketed our establishment. The risk was immense. I had taken out a hefty loan to finance the renovations, worried that I was risking 3 generations of family legacy for a chance at success. But slowly the tides turned. A local food blogger mentioned us in a video, and overnight, our tables were filled, turning what had once been a modest eatery into a sought-after dining experience. It was one of those bustling nights just before Christmas. As I moved through the restaurant, greeting guests and checking on tables, a group of 6 women entered, laughter ringing out like a chorus. They were young, the leader seemingly in her mid-20s, with a confidence that radiated from her. As I approached to welcome them, I could sense her energy, the unmistakable vibe of someone used to getting her way. "Hello. Welcome to our restaurant. Do you have a reservation?" I asked. She looked at me, a smirk dancing on her lips. "Oh, I didn't need one. The owner is a personal friend of mine. He always keeps a table open for me and my friends." Inside, a storm of emotions raged. I was the owner, yet I kept my cool. "I'm sorry, but we cannot seat anyone without a reservation. It's a very busy night, as you can see." Her eyes narrowed, and she instructed one of her friends to take a picture of me, a threat hanging in the air. "I'll call the owner. You'll be scrubbing toilets by the end of the week," she declared, her friends chiming in with laughter. A pit formed in my stomach. I had 3 choices: reveal my identity and risk making a scene, let them have the table without reservation, or teach them a lesson they wouldn't forget. I chose the latter. "Of course, ma'am. Right this way," I said with a smile, leading them to one of our VIP tables, the ones usually reserved for high-profile guests. "I apologize for the inconvenience. To make it up to you, the first 3 rounds of drinks are on the house." As I seated them, I could feel the energy shift. I could almost hear the gears turning in their heads, unaware of the storm they had just stepped into. After they ordered their drinks, I informed them that I would need a credit card and ID to keep on file. The leader, who I would come to know as Karen, handed over her card, boasting about how tonight was going to be her treat. The evening unfolded with rounds of drinks flowing freely, laughter spilling over the tables. I made sure to check on them regularly, serving their orders with a smile while noting their growing inebriation. As they sipped on their cocktails, I couldn't help but overhear snippets of their conversation. Snide comments about how the waitstaff were all beneath them, the casual dismissal of my profession. At one point, one of the younger girls turned to me, her expression a mix of curiosity and condescension. "Do you ever feel like your life is pointless, being just a waiter?" she asked, her words cutting deeper than she realized. That was the tipping point. I had taken a job that many considered menial, pouring my heart into a family legacy, and here I was, being mocked. I felt my resolve harden. This would not end without a lesson. As the night wore on, their drunken antics continued. They didn't notice that they were seated at a VIP table, where the prices were deliberately obscured. I watched as their orders mounted, each more extravagant than the last, the true cost of their evening hidden behind a facade of fun. By the time I brought out their bill, I knew they were in for a rude awakening. The total was staggering, $4,200, including drinks and a hefty tip. As I handed it to Karen, her laughter faltered, replaced by disbelief. "Is this a joke?" she stammered, searching my face for a hint of compassion. "No, that is your bill," I replied, suppressing a smirk. Her friends were equally stunned, scanning the bill in disbelief. The realization hit them like a tidal wave. They had feasted on the most expensive items on the menu, oblivious to the consequences of their entitled behavior. Karen stormed off to the restroom, likely plotting her escape. I discreetly reminded her that we had her credit card and ID, leaving her little choice but to return. When she did, her makeup was smeared from tears, and her demeanor had shifted from arrogant to frantic. "Listen," she pleaded, "the food was terrible. You have to cut this bill in half." I shook my head, my smile unwavering. "I'm sorry, but that's not how this works." As she pulled out her phone, claiming to text the owner, me, I recognized the ploy. She was trying to fabricate a connection, hoping to manipulate me. I suggested we call the owner for confirmation, knowing this would expose her lie. The panic in her eyes told me everything I needed to know. "Cut the act," I said firmly, my voice steady. "You don't know the owner, and I'm done playing nice." Her friends fell silent, the reality of their situation crashing down around them. I could see the tears pooling in her eyes, the weight of her arrogance now crushing her spirit. "You were given a table for high-profile guests without charge, and we covered your first 3 rounds of drinks. If you refuse to pay, I will have to call the police." With shaky hands, she signed the bill, her friends rummaging through their bags for cash, contributing what little they had. As they handed her the money, I could see the promise of repayment linger in their expressions. This night had cost them far more than they anticipated. 2 days later, an angry man arrived at the restaurant, demanding to speak with me. I recognized him immediately as Karen's father. He was furious, dragging his daughter along as they entered my office. I played the security footage for them, the audio crisp, capturing their laughter and mockery. Karen's face turned pale as her father's anger intensified. "You've embarrassed my daughter," he shouted, but as I continued the playback, his fury shifted toward her. I had framed the bill, a tangible reminder of that night, displaying it proudly on my desk as a testament to the lessons learned in humility and respect. I didn't lose money on the table. The costs had been covered by the meals and drinks, but I had gained something far more valuable, a story that would become legendary among my staff and patrons alike. In the end, I wasn't the jerk. I had simply stood my ground against entitlement, proving that even in a service role, there's dignity, pride, and a lesson waiting to be taught.